how do you think about, burning out? Because
Yeah.
even for things that like I love,
Yeah.
there are definitely times where I love them less. Like, for example, this happened, with basketball 2 years ago. I started this media company called Hoops Nation, started at like freaking 14 years old, just grinded all the way through high school, built it up. And then by the time I was 20, I was like, I don't want to be posting, sports
Yeah.
content and basketball content. So I hired a team and it's been outsourced ever since. And ever since I stepped away, I've fallen back in love with it. And now I enjoy like hopping in on things and doing things. And, I think about that experience in a lot of other industries. And I try to think about how to prevent that because it's a very long tail thing. Like it won't, that I feel like that happens after like 3 to 5 years,
Mm.
not front ended like that. So how do you think about, preventing things like that?
Yeah. Well, when you were 14 years old in what year?
2014.
2014. Okay. So in 2010, I started a Knicks blog, a New York Knicks blog. And
Amazing.
I went to media day in 2010 and people were like, what the hell? This kid is 15 years old. He should be in school. What's going on? I'm interviewing Amari Stoudemire sitting across the table from him. And he's asking me like, why are you here? Like, what's going on? And I just had this blog and built it up. But by 2011, when the NBA lockout happened, I was just burnt out of it. I was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just want to be a normal kid. And I saw the path to being on ESPN or like doing journalism, sports journalism forever. But I didn't like feel called to do that in my heart. So for me, I know what you mean by burnout. And I definitely got burnt out of writing the Knicks blog. And I don't know. I think that you just have to constantly ask yourself and check in with yourself. Like, am I enjoying what I'm doing? Is this giving me joy? Am I getting energy from it, even if it's draining? Like when you sign up for doing your passion, you're probably going to work harder than you ever have before. Like, because there's a
Fair.
lot of people who probably have that similar passion. And so, I think that burning out is part of whatever you're doing. If you're going to go so unbalanced in work and life, like I'm so unbalanced with podcasting, like it's all I think about. So I'm sure I'll push it too far, but then I'll know my limits, and then I'll be like, all right, I can come back to reality. So
Yeah,
that's how I think about it.
I'm with you. I definitely think the answer is burnout and then figure it out after that. Like
Yeah.
you got to push yourself to find out, your potential. And then, you burn out, but then it comes back. Like if you really love it, it always comes back to you.
Did you feel that way when did you start feeling it come back after you're 20 when you were posting the sports content?
Probably after like a year of it being totally on autopilot, like all the
Gotcha.
platforms, basically everything. And then I was like, because I forget things that I do all the time.
Yep. Same.
And it's like some days it's like, oh yeah, I do own that basketball media company. That's great. Like that's awesome. And then I'll like text the team.
Well, that speaks to how well you put systems in place. I mean, that reminds me of Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week, which everyone should check out if they're an entrepreneur. And I need to reread it myself. But it's like having the systems in place so that you can just be away and you could be on vacation and no one would know and no one would care. Like that's a whole new level of leverage. And so hats off to you for achieving that.